Hello, and welcome to Moscato and Tea. This is the show for all things beauty, business, and community with your hosts, Inez and Chiquita, keeping it raw, real, and unfiltered.
What it do, boo?
What it do, honey?
You are on your phone once again.
Okay, sorry. I know. I'm the worst.
Yes, you are.
I am the worst. Like, I realize that, and I'm trying to be better. But when you work for yourself and you got all kinds of things, which you should be, you just get on it. But I'm putting it down now.
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
so-
I love the cover, though. That's cute.
You like that cover?
Yes. Where you get that from?
Don't you worry about it.
That is actually really cute.
I know. This is so me, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's sparkly and
Yes.
got red lips.
Yes, it really is you.
This is me.
All about yourself.
Absolutely.
I mean, really. Can't go wrong.
Can't.
So, well, today I just wanted to kind of, briefly because I get a lot of questions and emails and stuff, and I know you probably do too. But I want to kind of go into publishing and writing for books and also film. And then, of course, you can chime in, with the questions that you get from people that want to start out in the skincare business, like exactly what they need to do,
Right.
Or where they need to go.
Right.
But I can start off with, for books and stuff and publishing, you first need to know what genre you want to write in. I personally write in all
Dirty
genres.
books.
Okay, it's not dirty books, romance. Okay. Whatever. She's so rude. It's romance. I write in the genre romance, but I'm also going to be writing in mystery and thriller very soon. Oh, this is Moscato. Very soon. I'm going to be doing under a pen name. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's going to be coming out probably late 2019. So
It is 2019.
Late 2019.
Oh, okay. I thought you said in 2019. I'm like, it's 2019?
Late 2019.
Okay, how exciting. Okay, cool.
So I'm really excited about that. But basically, with writing books and publishing, it can be a little expensive, but it's all about, what you're trying to go after and just budgeting and saving up. So kind of a few things that you need to do. First off, of course, is what name do you want to write under? You need to get, a website. If possible, go with like GoDaddy or oneandone.com. Or whoever, your hosting site is, or if you go through WordPress and stuff like that. I have my website through Squarespace. And we also have our podcast through Squarespace. So it kind of works out easy.
Yeah, my business is through WordPress.
Yeah. So I can go in between when I need to update our podcast or I need to update my publishing company. And then with that, you need to get all your social media. So I have social media for all of my, for all accounts, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I have the publishing company, and for you with social media for your business, you have all the different accounts. So it's very important that you get that as soon as possible, so no one else can steal it, But then also you need to, it depends on if you want to sell wide or under Amazon brand, which is KU Kindle Unlimited. And so you have to have, of course, an Amazon account through Author Central. So you need to open up an account. But I personally like to do sell wide, which is basically I'm not strictly under Amazon. I get to sell my books on iBooks. I get to sell my books on Barnes & Noble. I get to sell my books on Google Play. So I'm everywhere, which hits international, fans and stuff. And surprisingly, I sell a lot of books internationally. So I was very excited about that. So you have to figure out, do you want to be strictly under Amazon KU, which is good, of course. But I don't like to be tied down to one company, one brand by their rules. So I went wide with everything. And then, I think to me personally, when you're wide, you're able to do a lot more with marketing and promotion. So you got to figure out what your marketing plan is. Okay. And of course, through it all, networking. So I think that's the most important thing. And I do network with a lot of other authors, very high profile authors, which has been very wonderful. To, kind of gravitate and network and build a friendship and relationship through that. And then also with publishing, you want to make sure you have a good editor. Because you don't want to just throw anything out there and it's just like, what is this? And it's riddled with mistakes and typos and just like all over a mess. So you want to make sure you invest in a good editor, a good graphic designer. And I have like a list of, people that I work in between with, because you never know main one. They may get tied up, maybe busy with other clients. So you want to make sure you have enough people that you can work in between. So I go between 2 and 3 different people with editing and graphics design. I think other than that, just taking your time and making sure the story that you're trying to tell, is your story and you're not trying to please anybody else. Or please the audience or anything like that. Just because if you start to write for other people, you're basically losing the value in what you want to say.
Okay.
So I think just focusing on that, and most of my stories I write in of course it's romance, but it's different genres. It can be contemporary romance, it can be African American romance or drama. It can be interracial romance. It's like all encompassing of romance. So you just got to figure out exactly what you want to do and what you want to say. Now, on the other flip side of that, because like I said, my background is film and TV, with that, you have to have different type of software. With that one, I'm sorry, I've been drinking Moscato. It's getting to me.
Apparently. Girl.
I forgot what I was going to say. So with writing screenplays, because that's my background I've been doing, I wrote screenplays with Final Draft, which I highly recommend everyone gets if you want to do Final Draft and be a screenwriter. They do have a cheaper version. Another brand is called Siltex. And that's a little bit cheaper than Final Draft, but I do highly recommend Final Draft. You just get a lot more with that. And then with filmmaking, you need to honestly, it can be expensive, but it's about the people that you work with and networking with. And like my first project, which was a short film I did 2 years ago, I want to say I spent like close to $1,000. And that was basically people that I knew, local, my friends. Basically, I was like, pull them in. Can you do this? Can you hold the lighting? Can you hold the camera up and stuff like that? And we were able to pull it off, and film it. And it ended up, it's won awards. And this cheap little film, spent close to $1,000, ended up winning awards, And so it's about really the people that you work with and the story that you tell. And my script was like 7 pages. And it ended up, like I said, I'm still getting accepted into awards. We're going to another awards later this summer based off of that film. So you can write a screenplay. Once again, make sure you have a really good editor that can look at the script and really kind of break it down and make sure everything flows well. And then you can rent equipment, or you can, if you have friends or anything like that, you could talk with them and you can see about, kind of getting some stuff from them and just coming together, pulling together. One of our mutual friends, I had her do the song, which has kind of blown up the film entirely. And so she wrote the song, the score for the film. And then I had another friend do the editing and the graphics for it. And so it's just one of those things where you don't have to spend a ton, $10,000 and $20,000, to get your project together. It can really be under a reasonable price and really showcase, what you are and your brand. And so I have my website from a production company as well. And then I got all my social media for it together and just like branded myself. So I have like 2 or 3 different, businesses. But it's the biggest overall goal is networking and talking with people and hopefully getting them to understand what you're trying to do.
Right.
And it just really, I'm really excited for the future and what's to come, but it's really, you really got to know what you want to do. So we'll see. What about yourself?
That was a lot.
What you trying to say?
No, I'm just saying that's a lot. I mean,
it's a lot, but
it's a lot.
It took time.
It took time, but I think I would say the key that I got from all of that is really networking in the genre that you're trying to achieve. Because even with like you're a filmmaker, you got around actors and filmmakers and things like that. So when you did do your project, there were people willing to help you with your project.
People, friends
and stuff like that, and coworkers. Depending on you want to hang with the people that kind of are in your industry, because then that gives you a way. Or like you said, if you have a friend who do you mind doing a little acting gig? Yeah. Do you mind? A lot of times people will do things for free just because they want to be able to.
And most of them did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they did
for free. I mean, but that's something. But here's the thing too. People do things as long as they get something out. It's a win-win. So by them doing it for free, now they said they did a film underneath their belt. So being able to actually, I think she said, is that networking and being able to kind of build it that way.
Yeah, and I'm still friends with the and I always use her on everything, but the DP for my first shoot, I'm still with her now. And like whenever I have a project, I still call her up, email her, text her, and we're still posting it whenever we get nominated for anything. I'm still in communication with her. And that's another thing, submitting to different events, because I know people see when I post about different film festivals. Film Freeway, that is the place to go if you want to submit for something. So go to filmfreeway.com and you'll see all the different film festivals, because everybody's always emailing me like, where do you find this place? Where do you find that? Go to filmfreeway.com or withoutabox.com, and you can submit to different festivals. And, hopefully something will work out for you.
All right. Great.
Yeah. So it's not, don't look at it as, oh, I need $1 million. You don't. It's just...
Sure, $1 million makes it easier.
Yes,
but
it does.
If you don't have it, then, if you follow your dream and your passion, it'll make it happen.
Yes, it will pay off, because I was at a point where I was like, do I really want to continue doing this? And I was like ready to move back, and I was talking to a friend, and she was like, no, you're not going to do that. What do you need? And I told her, well, I wrote the script, and she was like, okay, use my apartment. I use her apartment. I use her camera. And she helped me out the day of the shoot. I asked a friend to act in it. And we literally filmed it in one day in her apartment for like 7 hours. And, after that, gave it to another friend to edit, put it together. And literally 2 years later, I'm still getting nominated.
Well, it was because that was what you were supposed to do. So sometimes we do things that, angels are brought to us in different ways and telling you that you are destined. So even when you think it's time to quit, something happens to tell you, you're not supposed to quit.
Yes, that is so true.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm very, very humble and excited and appreciative of any and everything. Even with the book stuff, I'm getting support from that and other writer friends. So I'm very, very, appreciative of that. And it's just opened up a lot of doors. So I'm really I'm shocked, but at the same time, it's you speak it into existence. And it comes.
Yeah, when things happen, it's not because you didn't speak it into existence. It's because that's what you were, if it's not meant to you, no matter what you do, it's not going to happen. So you have to figure out what it is that it is and find your passion. And, it will become, meant for you, and it will come the way you want it to.
Yeah, no,
it's just not when you want it to. It's when
that's true.
It's when the universe feels you're ready for it.
Yes. Well, why do you wait so long?
Because sometimes it's not meant at that time.
Because I wish this was back in my younger years.
You have to ask yourself, would you have been ready and prepared to handle everything in your younger years?
Probably not, because I was in college at the time. So.
Exactly. So that's why I'm you got to ask yourself a lot of things. What were you, there's a lot of things you'd be like, I wish. And I was like, let me be realistic about it. I would have let that shit fall apart and be okay because I wasn't ready and then be mad at myself.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's all encompassed.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. What about you?
As
beauty
far
business.
As, beauty. As I travel a lot. Mm-hmm. And I meet a lot of new estheticians in the business. I'm finding a lot of the same issues that I think a lot of these not issues, but just a lot of things that these when you're going into the business, you don't know.
Yeah.
Which I thought, by now we would be ahead up and so forth. So a lot of one thing is definitely your education. I highly recommend whatever state, country, whatever you're in, finding out your laws and finding out what is in your scope. What can you practice with your license?
Okay, that's what I was going to say. You got to have a license first.
Yes,
okay.
But before you go to school, what can you practice with your license?
Okay.
I think that's really important because I'm finding that people are spending thousands of dollars to do things they can't even do. All right. Another thing is when you're going to these private schools, and there's nothing wrong with private schools, you have to realize that they're just teaching you how to pass state board.
Okay. Oh.
Okay. Your state board, whatever state you're in, you're being taught to pass state board. You're really not being taught to go out there in the real world.
Interesting.
Okay. So when you're going to these schools, ask the questions. Like you're spending $10,000, $15,000 on a school. Ask him what's my return on investment? Like, am I guaranteed a job? Are you going to job search with me? Are you helping me? Because these are vocational schools.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of them aren't getting the return on investment.
That's crazy.
You're spending a ton of money, and when you come out, you're at the very bottom of the scale when it comes to making money.
Yeah,
because you don't have the skills to work to make money. So I think really understanding the scope and where you're starting at. You're starting at entry level.
Okay.
You have 90%. So I always tell people that whoever tell me, I said, look, if you can get this, you can get the same education at a junior college who offers cosmetology as you can with a name brand school or something like that. What you're taking from these name brand school is the name of the school. Because at the end of the day, everybody has to pass the same level of testing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Each state has its own testing, but it's up to the scope. But it's pretty much all the same across the board. Your true education comes after you graduate school, because whatever company you work for has to train you to do what they want you to do. Because every company has a vision of their brand. Okay. So if you're working for a company that comes in, they're going to tell you, okay, well, I know what you did in school, but now I need to train you.
Yeah.
So my biggest suggestion, and this is where I think I did well in, is I went to a junior college and I took 2 semesters and I paid like peanuts to the dollar compared to what, some of these. And what I did was I invested the rest of that money after school.
Okay.
In going to post-education classes to learn waxing, facials, equipments, things of that nature where you're going to be able to work. Because at school, they can't teach you that because you have to pass the state board to get your license. Because a lot of these things, you have to have a license to be able to work in. I think that's a really huge key is asking the questions when you're going to spend $10,000, $15,000, finding out where you're going to be able to work so where you can pay that loan back.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a college thing. You're paying all this money. Okay, you got a name, but are you just going to work at a job that's only going to pay you minimum wage and tips?
Oof.
So if that's the case, you might as well spend your money at junior college and then take that extra, spend $3,000 in junior or $2,000 in junior and take the extra $7,000 and go get yourself educated after. Yeah. And that means going to skincare shows, taking classes, reading, doing webinars. Take that money and exposing yourself so that you are able to work in the industry. And if you are at a job that is generous enough to give you classes for free, take those opportunities and take the classes. I go to classes to teach all the time, and you'd be amazed how many people don't show up.
That's crazy.
And it's free education.
Yeah.
It's free because everybody thinks they know it all. You don't know it all. Like reality, I'm meeting these. So I think that's the main key to be successful in this industry is to understand what you're getting yourself into. And knowing what you're expecting. Yes, it's a broad. This industry, the beauty industry, is humongous. Once you're in school, the school process is to learn what you like. Okay. They teach you very basics. A little bit on waxing, a little bit in facials, a little bit like some places, depending on what you're paying, lash extensions, all of these things. The reality is, it's so basic that once you get out of school, you still have to relearn how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's basic to the point where you're like, oh my God, I didn't even realize this. No, they're doing it in a way for sanitation, for you to teach you how to be able to go out there and go ahead and not, sanitary practices. That's basically what it is.
What about some of these girls that are doing Instagram, like eyelash
Again, it's all in the scope. You have some girls that don't have a license that are doing it, which is a problem. That's a whole nother situation.
Okay.
You have nail techs that are doing it. You're a nail tech in your scope of your license. You shouldn't be doing these things unless you're an esthetician or you're a cosmetologist. You're a cosmetologist. You can do all of it. Okay. So there's certain things that you can and cannot do in the scope of these things. So really, it's really kind of figuring out. Once you know what you like, then mastering that. Be a master, don't be a jack of all trades and a master of nothing. Be a master of what you truly, truly like. It doesn't mean you can't dabble in everything, but master what it is that you really like.
Okay.
So if you really like skincare and you really like facials, after you got out of school, then you go and you take classes on mastering how to be a great facialist. Product knowledge, knowing those things, knowing the product knowledge is humongous. People think it's just, you just slap on some stuff on somebody's skin, but that's not the case because what they don't tell you when you become an esthetician or you become in the beauty world, like you're a chemist, you're a psychologist, you have to know anatomy, you have to know physiology, you have to know all these things, little bits of it, but nobody tells you that.
Yeah.
That's just, because you got to know pressure points, massage. There's a whole nother, it's a really big game that people don't realize. So people just think that they're going to school, I can learn how to do a facial and that's how it is. I get a job and I'm making, 6 figures. That's not how it works. So really knowing and understanding and mastering what you like the best. So if you really like facials, do that. If you really like waxing, master waxing. If you really like lash extensions, master that. Master what it is that you have your passion for. Then from there, you focus. Then you could go ahead and go, I do facials, I do this. But the reality is that as an Esty, you are able to do everything. But likelihood of everybody, clients coming to see you to do everything is very minimal. Even when a day spa, you go in, you have somebody who sees you for your lashes, who sees you for your massage, sees you for, so if you can master whatever it is, then that's where your key is. And I think also is exploring and realizing, because with your esthetician license, or depending on what state you're in, some places can do laser, some places, if that's what you want to do, master that and get that. But I really highly suggest just spending your money after post graduation and really focusing in on that. And then you can kind of go from there if you want to teach, if you want to do this, you want to do everything. But really, honestly, remember also when you are paying $10,000, $15,000 for your education and that license, you're carrying a name. Is that name powerful enough to get you to where you need?
That's true. Yeah. No, I agree. I do have to say I did go to college for film and TV production, but I think you don't necessarily need to go to school for it. I mean, it was a great experience for me and stuff like that. But you don't necessarily need to
here with this, you have to. You have to. You got to get certified by the state, whatever state you're in. In California, you have to have a license. You have to be. You got to go to state board. You have to do these things. So at the end of the day, it's more for It's for the client safety and your safety. So when you're going to school and you're really thinking about it, realize that you're just getting the basics to pass state board, and this just to be able to pass state board. Your true education comes after
the experience.
After.
Exactly. And I highly recommend, because I know after I graduated college, I worked on different TV shows. I worked on Dr. Phil's show. I worked on Tyra Banks' show. I worked on a lot of reality TV shows. So I got a lot of experience.
So, and yes, I agree with that. And I also have to remember, humble yourself. You're just starting off.
Yes, I've been an intern. I've been the coffee girl.
Yes, sometimes you're going to eat shit.
Yes.
To get the experience. I did so many free shit for a really long time to get that underneath my belt. Now, there's nothing for free.
Yeah, no.
And if I do it for free, it's because I choose to.
Exactly.
But I have the experience underneath my belt to sit there and say, okay, no, this is why you're paying me.
Yeah.
So being, I think dropping ego, and also dropping ego and finding a buddy or a friend or a mentor in your industry. If you can find somebody who's willing to show you and teach you, highly recommend it. It's really kind of necessary. I had a mentor. I had somebody who was really awesome with me. At the time, I didn't really see it, but now as I see it, she was we're still friends, we could hit each other up, but having that as a background to be able to sit there and say, oh my God, am I right or wrong? Having somebody, because there will be days that you want to quit and there will be days that you love it. It's just like any other job or any other career.
Yes.
It's just where are you putting it forward? So, that's my best advice is really paying attention, spend your money after post education. Yeah. It really doesn't matter where you go to school because at the end of the day, any job you're going into is entry level and they're going to teach you anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all about, experience and working with people and getting to know people and, coming out
and
of the
networking.
show. And networking.
Yes. Go to skincare shows.
Yes.
I always tell people, if you get a chance, go. You know how many companies and businesses and are out there showing their showcasing. You're in a world with people who are just like you in the same industry. You could talk. You don't know it. You can, all of a sudden you might have another job. You might be able to do something else. You see somebody at a show, remember them. Oh my God, I remember from you the last time. I go to classes. I meet other girls from Essie. We still communicate with each other. How are things? How are you? Do you need anything? Networking is humongous in that.
Highly, highly recommend. I'm also, I would suggest if you're able to join different memberships. I'm a member of different organizations like Film Independent. I'm a member of Women in Film. I'm Women in Media. I join a lot of different organizations. Even in the book world, I'm a member of the RWA, which is the Romance Writers Association, local chapters. So in that way, they have classes, they have workshops. So you're able to really network and educate yourself. So it's not just, these one-off things.
Yeah, it's in any industry you do.
Any industry.
You should be like associations constantly join, and then you'll see things, you'll go to things, you'll be able to, and then you network more people. It's just the nature of the beast. But I mean, there's the beauty industry is a huge, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, multi-billion-dollar industry. So if you do things correctly, there's enough for everybody to get a piece of the pie.
Exactly. Well, we're going to end it on that note and say we appreciate all you guys for listening, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Take a little time to enjoy your brand of Moscato and Tea with us every day. Subscribe, rate, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and MoscatoandTea.com.
That bottle hit the spot, let me tell you.
Girl, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I was like, you can't drink no more. You need to eat like 7 pieces of cake.
I was like, okay.
Right?
That was good.